Hi, I want to welcome you. I'm Ashley Tabret and I'm a naturopath. There's all my credentials. I have done an awful amount of studies, basically, what this is saying. I held a Bachelor of Medicines Management. I have a graduate certificate in evidence based complementary medicine and a diploma in naturopathy. That qualifies me to talk today about your hormones, your fertility, and how to use them, how to understand your body's messages. So, my mission is to teach you how powerful your body is. You can reclaim your hormones naturally. Today, we'll dive into fertility awareness method, a natural way to understand your cycle, whether you're trying to conceive or prevent pregnancy. Many of you were told we can fall pregnant any day of your cycle, but that's simply not true. Your body has clear signals that tell you exactly when you're fertile and when you're not. Once you read how to once you learn how to read these signs, you'll never have to guess again. Fertility awareness is a set of natural tracking methods used to determine your fertility and infertility phases. It's based on three key body signs that we're going to go through. So, cervical mucus, basal body temperature, cervical position. By observing these, you can actually pinpoint your fertility window with accuracy, whether your goal is for conception or for natural birth control. The fertility awareness method can be highly effective when used correctly, but its success depends on consistency and accurate tracking of fertility signs. There's a breakdown of this. Here's a breakdown. So, if used perfectly, it is 98 to 99% effective, with only 1 to 2 pregnancies per 100 women per year. Typical use: accidental mistakes, inconsistent tracking will drop the effectiveness down to 76 to 88% effectiveness when used as birth control, obviously. And that means that there's 12 to 24 pregnancies per 100 women per year. In comparison, the OCP, so birth control pill, is 93% effective for typical use and 99% for perfect use. Condoms is 87% for typical use and 98% for perfect use. Depot is 94%, and IUD is 99%. So those here to prevent pregnancy, this is an effective way, and it's up there with all the other methods there are available in this modern world. First, we need to actually know what your flow is all about. So let's go through that cycle, and there's four distinct phases. So we've got the menstrual, which is the bleeding, the first part of your cycle. So the first day of your next cycle, and the bleed. The follicular phase is your body preparing an egg for ovulation. Ovulation, your most fertile days. That's what we want to understand. We want to read our body's signs to understand when we're ovulating, so we know when we're fertile. The luteal phase, the second half of your cycle, each phase brings hormonal changes that affect your body, mood, and energy levels. Okay, so what does your cervical mucus mean? One of the best ways to track fertility is through cervical mucus. It changes throughout your cycle and gives you real-time clues about when pregnancy is possible. So when you're dry, after your period, you may have little to no cervical mucus. Pregnancy is really unlikely. Creamy, you're non-fertile here as well. As your egg matures, mucus becomes creamy or thick. Ovulation is coming, but you're not quite fertile yet. Watery, your body is preparing for ovulation. Watery mucus creates an ideal environment for sperm. So sperm, for interest, can actually survive in watery cervical mucus for up to 5 days. But survival time depends on mucus quality and overall reproductive health. Watery mucus is a sign that your body is preparing for ovulation. It creates a sperm-friendly environment by providing nutrients to keep sperm alive, helping sperm swim towards the egg, protecting sperm from vaginal acidity. Egg white cervical mucus, which is even stretchier and more slippery, is the most optimal for conception. So that's what's coming next. the eggy. So this is when you're most fertile. It's the gold standard for fertility. If your mucus is clear, stretchy, and slippery, you're at your peak fertility. Sticky, non-fertile. After ovulation, mucus turns sticky and thick again, marking the end of your fertility window. If you're trying to conceive, have sex on watery or egg white days, remembering that sperm can survive for 5 days. So as soon as it starts to get watery, that's when you need to start having unprotected sex. If you're wanting to avoid a pregnancy, use protection or abstain during those watery days. As soon as it starts to get watery, until that slippery is gone. So moving on to your basal body temperature, or also shortened to BBT, is your lowest body temperature taken first thing in the morning before getting out of bed. That's really important for accuracy. You don't want to take it once you're already up and moving. So basal body temperature rises after ovulation due to progesterone. A sustained rise for 3+ days confirms ovulation has passed. Basal body temperature does not predict ovulation, it only confirms it afterwards. Mistakes to avoid: if you're preventing pregnancy, don't wait for a temperature to rise to use protection. You may have already ovulated. Let's talk about your cervical position. Your cervix also changes during your cycle. Fertile phase, your cervix is going to be soft, high, open, wet. Think show, soft, high, open, wet. Non-fertile phase is going to be firm, low, closed, and dry. You can check your cervical position is optional, but it adds to extra confirmation in your checking. So then put it all together. When you track cervical mucus, basal body temperature, and cervical position together, you have a complete picture of your fertile window. If you want to conceive, have sex on fertile mucus days before ovulation. If you're avoiding pregnancy, use protection or abstain on fertile mucus days and confirm ovulation with basal body temperature before assuming you're safe. So when to have sex, we've just gone over that. Best time to conceive is obviously going to be on those watery egg white days when sperm can survive for 5 days. Common mistakes: only having sex on day 14. Ovulation timing varies from woman to woman. Really going to depend on the length of your cycle. If you are someone with a longer cycle, then you could completely miss ovulation if you're only having sex on day 14. Remembering that sperm can survive for 5 days, so you can start having sex unprotected well before those ovulation days. Waiting for a temperature rise before having sex: you may have completely missed ovulation if you've waited for that. Ignoring cervical mucus. It's really the easiest way to check your fertility indicators, to check whether you're fertile or not. You wipe every day, every time you go to the toilet, have a look. It's a really simple thing to start checking in and start to pay attention to. So that's for those that are wanting to conceive. Those that don't want to conceive, you really need to be, again, that cervical mucus, really checking that cervical mucus. As soon as it starts to get watery, it's time to abstain or to use a condom. Waiting until that watery mucus has completely gone and you've gone back to that sticky tacky, that's when you're safe again before your period starts. You can also check your basal body temperature and make sure that it's dipped. Once it's dipped back to normal, once you haven't got that rise, that's when you're safe again. I do want to just leave a little bit here on the ovulatory prediction kits, the OPKs, and the reliability. I'm hearing so many of my fertility clients spending a small fortune on these, and I just want to let you know my personal opinion about these. That they don't actually confirm ovulation. They only detect when the LH, the luteinizing hormone, has actually surged before ovulation. Doesn't guarantee ovulation will happen, and that really depends on your LH, your luteinizing hormone health, and whether it's peaking at the right levels. They can be really confusing to read. And I find that it really increases stress levels for a lot of women. They're constantly checking these, using a lot of them. And then when the stress levels go up, fertility levels drop. And it's a really double-edged sword that I would prefer you to learn how to read your body's signs and symptoms of fertility to predict when to actually have sex. Cervical mucus really is your best measurement of fertility. Really cheap too. So again, cervical mucus is your best measurement for fertility. Mucus, cervical mucus, that fertile mucus, that really clear stringy stuff. Sperm, I've said a few times now, can survive for 5 days. It filters out poor quality sperm as well, increasing the chances of a healthy pregnancy. Provides real feedback and no expensive kits are needed. So the take-home message is cervical mucus is your most reliable fertility sign. Basal body temperature confirms ovulation but doesn't predict it. Tracking your cycle gives you control over conception or pregnancy prevention. Trying to conceive, time sex with fertility mucus before ovulation. Avoiding pregnancy, avoid unprotected sex on fertile days. Confirming ovulation with a basal body temperature before assuming you're safe. Tracking your cycle isn't just about conception, it's about body literacy, hormone health, and taking control of your reproductive health naturally. What's next? Start by observing your cervical mucus daily and charting it. Over time, you'll see patterns that reveal your fertile window. Wanting personalized guidance? Let's chat. Whether you're avoiding pregnancy or trying to conceive, or you want to understand your body better, fertility awareness is an incredible tool for everyday women. Contact me at ashley@ashleytobrett.com or go over to my website, lots of blogs and stuff to look at there at www.ashleytobrett.com. And you can always send me a message on my phone number, which you'll find there. Although that's missing a number, that's 0412155222. Until next time.